Okay. Again, going on the road this year, so a little bit new experience. Princeton opening matchup, won 15 straight games. They have one of the best defenses in the country. They're ranked like 16th in the country in defense. So they're going to be, a team that has postseason experience, fresh off their Ivy League championship. And I know they came here a couple of years ago in the first and second round. So again, they've had a great tradition and winning program for the last few years. So we know that's going to be a big challenge for us. And again, we're excited about the opportunity though, and look forward to a fresh start, kind of wipe the slate clean, and here we go with a new season. So we're ready to get started with that.
We'll go ahead with questions. James, you're up first.
Yeah, Coach, you've had a little break in between the tournament and now. Were there some things you really were looking to clean up with your squad over this little break here?
Yeah, it was a combination. It was a good chance to for our players to have a little bit of time off, and so we had a couple of days off, and then we had a couple of days where we basically just came in and got shots up and got in the weight room and things like that. I actually went recruiting during some of that time for a few days. And now we've had a couple of practices where we could really focus on us and things we need to do better and try to clean up. And now, we practiced the last 2 days. Now we're off today while the coaches are trying to put together all the scouts and things like that for this weekend. And like I said, we, hopefully, the ACC tournament was kind of like our whole season. I thought the Syracuse game, we played really well and did some good things. And then the Notre Dame game kind of disappointed. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, and hopefully we can have a little more consistency when we get out to Utah.
And I just want to have a follow-up. Isaiah James, her role is sort of expanded here down the stretch for you. Just discuss her development overall over this last year.
Yeah, again, that's what we're used to doing. You bring people in and try to help them along their way and develop a little bit. Things have changed now with the transfer portal and all that, but I've always enjoyed bringing high school players in and having them develop over a 4-year period and grow as individuals and as a team. And so Isaiah's done a really good job with that. Obviously, with Diamond being out and with some of the other things we faced and encountered, she has gotten more of an opportunity, and I think she's taken advantage of that opportunity and done some really good things.
Thanks, Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, go ahead.
Hey, Wes, you just spoke about Diamond Johnson. I wanted to ask, how good was this break for her? Obviously, you held her out for the ACC tournament. Do you have a status update for her, or where does she stand right now?
Yeah, not definite. We got a few more days here, but she's still struggling some, and so we'll see. But again, I know she's still experiencing pain and that sort of thing. So it's going to be a challenge for sure, but don't want to, slam doors shut yet.
You mentioned the defensive side of the basketball for Princeton. How much of a challenge is that going to be for the offense if you don't have Diamond available, and even if you do have Diamond available, facing off with that defense?
Yeah, they just they usually switch almost all picks on the ball, that sort of thing. They chase you off screens, so they're fairly aggressive with their defense. And we've got to make sure we value the ball. That's the biggest thing. We got to be able to get some shots and get good shots. So value the basketball, be patient when it's called for, and look to attack when the opportunity presents itself. But I'm just obviously we found out last night I've clipped one game on them, and we've got different coaches working on these things. So don't really have everything yet. I know the point guard they have is really, really good, and she's their leading scorer and does a lot of scores at all three levels. And then they've got a post player. Make sure I get her name, Mitchell, who has 116 offensive boards. I think our team leader has 40 offensive boards. So that's going to be a big challenge too, trying to keep her off the glass. But that's just kind of the preliminary look. They went to UConn and lost by 5, and we know how our trip to UConn went. So obviously they're a very good team, and they're going to present some challenges.
Thank you, Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Princeton as well. I feel like there was a couple times they were assigned to the Raleigh when you guys were hosting. Has that provided familiarity maybe that you guys wouldn't have otherwise have? And are they stylistically similar to Carolina? Because I know Carolina's coach was once at Princeton.
Yeah. First part of that, really that's been a couple of years ago, and people have changed, and we didn't play Princeton. So they were here, but we didn't play them. So I really can't say that we have a lot of a bank of information. Actually, Ashley Williams on our staff was at Indiana last year, and they played Princeton. So she did have some info from that, and then obviously we're trying to pull in as much as we can, but I can't say that's a real advantage, them having been here, because we never played them. And then as far as the connection there, really, to be honest with you, they may be more like UConn in some ways. Their coach played at UConn, and she came from another school. So when she took the head coaching job, so there's obviously similarities. The Princeton offense stuff, they still run some of that, and but they do have some similarities to what UConn does as well.
James, go ahead.
Yeah, Wes, a little bit off the board, not necessarily about the tournament. In November, you announced Zoe Brooks as an addition in your to your class, and she was a McDonald's All-American here recently. Just discuss what you saw from her and just potentially what she could add down the road for you all.
Yeah, I think Zoe, we're obviously really excited about her. When we signed her, she was probably ranked 30-something in her class and in the country. And then when they kind of reevaluated their ranking, she moved up to number 9 in the country, and being named a McDonald's All-American, as you mentioned. She's had a phenomenal year. They're undefeated. They've knocked off number 1 team in the country, number 2 team in the country. I mean, and she's a big part of that. I also think we need some help at point guard, and I think she can do that. She does a good job scoring the ball, but she also gets her teammates involved. It'll be tough, as a freshman playing that position, but we do think she can handle that and help us some. And we're excited about that whole class. I might mention Lacey Steele out of Oklahoma. They just won back-to-back state championships. She was named State of Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year and scored her 2,000th point a couple of weeks ago. So excited about her. Maddie Cox out of Texas broke a lot of their records there at her school, and does a lot of things as a 4 player. She broke the assist record at her school with 13 assists in a couple of games. So that, and then Mallory Collier out of Tennessee was just got through playing in the state championship game. Unfortunately, they got beat in the final game, but those kids are used to winning, and I think that's always a big advantage too, when you bring people into your program that know how to win and realize winning is important.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, going into selection day, did you have an idea or thought about where you would be seated? Is the 7 seed kind of where you figured you might be?
Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I look at Charlie Cream's, projections, but we knew we'd be somewhere in there, 6, 7, whatever. Our net was 17th in the country. Our strength of schedule is like number 2 in the country. So, I think that's what helped us, even though we had some very disappointing losses. We've had some great wins. But we had some disappointing losses in the conference, and so that's kind of why we are where we are. You win those 3 games, and now you're 12-6 in the ACC, and who knows, you might have a chance to host or whatever. So, but nothing we can do about that now. So yeah, it's pretty much where I thought, but you never know. You never know where they're going to send you, who you're going to be matched up with, and it's exciting night. You find out. It's like Christmas. Find out, open up your present, and here we go.
Just a follow up. You mentioned where they send you. You're going to Salt Lake City. Have you any plans yet of when you're leaving, and would you like to get there earlier to kind of acclimate?
Yeah, that's something that's definitely in the discussions right now. The NCAA uses a travel agent that handles the men's and women's tournament right now, and heck, they're probably involved in NIT too on the men's side, because that's under the NCAA umbrella now. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. There is a chance we'll leave on Tuesday afternoon because we're going out west, but otherwise we'd leave Wednesday morning. But I think there is a chance we might leave Tuesday afternoon.
Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, in regards to going to Utah, do you see that as an opportunity? Maybe is that something that you're going to get far away from ACC land, and that's a chance to bond and kind of be isolated and focused on the tournament? I know it's not as easy sometimes when you're in Raleigh and there's a lot of hoopla.
Yeah, I'd rather be in Raleigh. I like playing at home. Reynolds has been good to us, and with our fan base and all, it's a great home court advantage. So rather be at home, but otherwise, Salt Lake. I think didn't the men in '83, didn't they go through Utah maybe?
Ogden,
Ogden,
Utah.
What's
Ogden.
that?
They were in Ogden.
Yeah, so maybe we can catch some of that mojo out of them. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Utah's, if you get to Utah, obviously, if you were to meet them, they're undefeated at home. But right now, our focus is flat on Princeton and the challenge we have there. But yeah, it's someplace new, obviously, for a lot of our players and all. So pack our snow skis and let's go.
James, go ahead.
Wes, I'm interested. Do you typically pitch to your team this is sort of a new season when you go into postseason play? And I don't know how you viewed success or failure relative to the regular season this year, but just a new opportunity for this group.
No doubt, and like I said, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster this year, especially in conference play. But it doesn't matter now. It is what it is. We are where we are. Erase the board, and now from here on out, it really doesn't matter. It's what you do, and one game at a time, like we stressed last year. It is. But that's what we say. It's a new season. We got one last chance to make a positive statement. And so that's what we got to try to go out and do.